manner. Okay, go ahead, verse 10. From Jubilees chapter 8, verse 10.
And it came to pass at the beginning of the 33rd Jubilee that they divided the land in 3 parts, for Shem, Ham, and Japheth, according to the inheritance of each. In the first year, in the first week, while one of us who were sent was dwelling with them, and he called his children, and they came to him, and they and their children, and he divided by lot the land which his 3 sons would possess. And they stretched out their hands and took the document from the bosom of Noah their father.
Mm-hmm.
And the lot of Shem was assigned in the document as the middle of the earth,
Mm-hmm.
which he would take for his possession, and for his sons for eternal generations, from the midst of the Rapha mountains,
Mm-hmm.
from the mouth of the water of the river Tina.
Mm-hmm.
And his portion goes toward the west through the midst of this river, and it goes on until it draws near to the water of the abysses from which this river goes forth. And its waters pour forth into the Meat Sea.
Mm-hmm.
And this river goes on into the Great Sea.
Mm-hmm.
And everything which is toward the north belongs to Japheth.
Mm-hmm.
And everything which is toward the south belongs to Shem. And his portion goes on until it draws near Carasso,
Mm-hmm.
which is in the bosom of the tongue, which looks toward the south.
Mm-hmm.
And his portion goes on toward the Great Sea.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes straight until it draws near to the west of the tongue, which looks toward the south, because the name of the sea is the tongue of the Sea of Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
And it is turned from there toward the south, toward the mouth of the Great Sea, on the shore of the waters. And it goes on toward the west of Afra, and it goes on until it draws near the water of the river Gihon, and toward the south of the water of Gihon, toward the shore of that river. And it goes on toward the east until it draws near to the Garden of Eden, toward its south, and to the south and to the east of all the land of Eden, and to all the east. And it turns in the east, and it comes forth until it draws near toward the land, toward the last of the mountain, whose name is Rapha. And it goes down toward the shore of the mouth of Tina River. This portion was assigned by lot to Shem and to his sons to possess it forever, for his generations forever.
Mm-hmm.
And Noah rejoiced, because this portion was assigned to Shem for his sons, and he remembered everything which he spoke with his mouth concerning him, because he said,
Mm-hmm.
May the Elohim of Shem be blessed, and may Yah dwell in the dwelling place of Shem.
Okay, stop for a second. How many times we heard, you see, Japheth was going to dwell in the tents of Shem? No, Yah is going to dwell in the tents of Shem. That's what the scripture is making reference to, not Japheth dwelling in the tents of Shem. Yah dwelling. We just saw it right there, right? Now, also another doctrine that's taught is that the earth was split, meaning that the continents were split on the days of Peleg. You know, the waters open up, and then you got it's one big puzzle, brothers and sisters. If you look at the map, you'll see it's one big puzzle. You know, when the earth split, it's a puzzle. So North America's over here, Europe is over here, Middle East is over here, and during the days of Peleg, the earth split. No, the earth was divided, the lands was divided among the sons. This is what he's talking about. That's what this is talking about. That's what King James is talking about. That's what the scripture is talking about. That's what Jubilee is talking about. They all kind of go hand in hand. They are explaining each other. So we don't have teaching false concepts without comparing Jubilees, comparing Jasher, comparing the book of Enoch, comparing the testaments of Adam, the apocalypse of Adam, the testament of Abraham, the apocalypse of Abraham, whatever it's called, right? We take all those books, we compare them. We don't throw them out. We take the meat off the bone. We find out what may have been been misrepresented, and we clean it up, and then we got the big picture, right? That's why we look at the books. As an Israelite, we don't say, I'm gonna throw it out because it's called a pseudepigrapha. Because we don't like in the book of Jubilees that it says Hebrew was the language of creation. Nope, false book, Hebrew, we speak English. So we debunk all that by taking all the books together, putting them together, right? So we see here that something else that stuck out. Yah shall dwell in the tents of Shem. Yah shall dwell in the tents of Shem. So what is it saying? All that land that Aram's son, that Shem's son was allotted to them is the Mesopotamia and the desert that go all the way over to the Gihon, which comes down from Jerusalem, which is where the Garden of Eden was. But that's another lesson. All right, so go ahead, finish that out.
And he knew that the Garden of Eden was the Holy of Holies and the dwelling of Yah, and Mount Sinai was in the midst of the desert, and Mount Zion was in the midst of the navel of the earth. The three of these were created as holy places, one facing the other.
Stop. See that? Y'all think I'm crazy, right? He just said, where was the Garden of Eden at? In Jerusalem, in the holies of holies. Y'all ain't gonna talk to me. Y'all ain't gonna talk to me today. All right, go ahead. Let's close it out.
And he blessed.
Verse 20. Mm-hmm.
And he knew that a blessed portion and blessing had reached Shem and his sons for eternal generations, all the land of Eden, and all the land of the Red Sea, all the land of the east, India along the Red Sea and its mountains, and all the land of Basa, and all the land of Lebanon, and the islands of Captor, and all of Mount Sinir, Amanus, Mount Asher, which is north, all the land of Elam, Asher, Babel, Susa, Media, and all the mountains of Ararat, and all the region beyond the sea, which is beyond Mount Asher, which is toward the north, the blessed and wide land, and everything which is in it is very good.
That's good. What verse was that?
That was 21. That was all of Shem's.
Okay, good. So now we see this. So that's good. So now, as we can see, the land of Shem is all that land that's surrounded by. Let's do this right quick before we close. Let's see if I can pull that map up here. All right. Let's go here right one more time. See, some of y'all didn't know you're going to get a geography lesson today. All right. Go to that Google map. And I want you to zoom out. And we're going to look at, I want you to zoom in to where you can actually see Turkey, Syria, Iraq, and Saudi Arabia, and Egypt. Okay, so when you look at that, you can see a close picture of the biblical lands. If you look at that map, if you zoom it in to where you can see, and the reason why I want you to zoom it to where you can see the actual country's name, so you can see how they have each land bordered off, right? And you got Syria to the west, which is Syria borders Lebanon. So all of these territories are Shemitic territories, right? North of Lebanon is Syria, and north of Lebanon in Syria is Damascus, where the first assembly of the followers of the Messiah met there, called Antioch. That was named after the Antiochus Epiphanes by, I think, one of the general, I think it was Seleucid, I think it was, named the land Antioch. That's where we get the name from, Antioch. Antiochus Epiphanes, right? So if you look at that, you'll see Israel, you will see the Great Sea, that's the Mediterranean Sea, right? And if you were to zoom in, you will see how that the Mediterranean Sea spills over into the Egyptian Sea, which is what? The Red Sea. Okay? So it's like a circle. The sea goes around Saudi Arabia and comes back around to, if you look at the water, it's the Arabian Sea. We talked about the Egyptian Sea, which spills into, or the Gihon, which spills into the Gulf of Arabia, which spills into the Arabian Sea, which spills into the Gulf of, what is that? The Gulf of Oman, and then the Persian Gulf, which goes all the way back up to the Euphrates, which goes to the left, and the Tigris, or the Hiddekel. In the Hebrew tongue, the Hiddekel is Tigris. It was changed to Tigris during the Greek era, I believe it was, under Alexander Philip of Macedonia's son, Alexander the Greek, came from Macedonia. Okay, so that goes all the way up into, as he said, the mountains of Tina, right, and the mountains of was it Lubar, where the ark rests, where when Noah and the ark rested on the mountains, it rested up it north of Syria at the border of Turkey, right? That's where the ark rested there. So from there we can see, and if we pull up a map of the sons of Japheth, let me see if I can do that. We can actually see the sons of Noah is what I meant to say. Okay, let's see. Images, let's see, images. Okay, there's a map. There's a couple of them here. This one's Wikipedia. Let's see, let's try this one here. Let's try this one. See if you can pull this one up. Nope, it's got too many letters. Let me see. Let's try it again. Hold on, I must have messed up somewhere along the line. Let's see. Oh, this is a good one right here. Can I pull this one up? Let's see. This is let's see if I can share this. Let's try. Let's see. Copy. Can I copy the link? Okay, cool. All right. Let's see. Let's try this. Let's try this link here. All right. Hold on. Give me 1 second here. Got too much going on in this particular link. Okay, good. Okay, so click that link there I just put in there. That's the images. That's the sons of Noah. All right. Now we did this lesson last Shabbat. So for those of you that didn't watch last week, you can watch it now. You can watch it with this map that we pulled up, and you'll see that I'm not sure if they got all of the sons there. Let's see. See Yvonne. Let's go back to Genesis chapter 10 right quick. I want to see. Okay, so they talk about the sons of Japheth, Gomer. You see Gomer there? Okay, can y'all see Gomer? See Gomer there? Gomer, Magog. Is Magog there? Where's Magog? I don't see Magog on that map. Where's Magog? Okay, he didn't make it on that map. Let's see. Hold on a second. Let's try something. Let's try another one. Okay, this map here is it's not as sexy. But they have the names of the sons, looks like it. So I'm gonna put this one here. All right, try that one there. All right, so once you pull that up, just click that map. Okay, you click that map, it'll blow it up. All right, now you can see. Now you can see Magog. Okay, so you can see Gomer. You see Magog. You see Madah. Okay, we see Yvonne. We see Tubal. Okay, Tubal. They got T-H-O-B-E. Oh, that's right, Tubal. They spell T-H. Meshach and Tyrus. Okay, Tyrus they spelled with an H. Okay, Ashkenaz, they don't have Ashkenaz there. Conveniently left Ashkenaz out. How about that? Riphath and Togarmah. Let's see, Riphath is there, Togarmah is there. Interesting. Conveniently left Ashkenaz out. Okay. Yvonne, Elisha's not there either on that one. Okay. I'll see if I can dig a better map out. I have a better map, but it's not uploaded on the internet. Some kind of way. I got to get my website back up so I can have these links where I need them.
I just googled the map of the sons of Noah, and it brought up a bunch of different maps.
Okay.
The one I had.
Did it include all the sons? Because the ones that I just pulled up, this one, it left out Ashkenaz on this one and left out Togarmah. Okay, but anyway, just hold tight and we'll dig it out. But let's close this lesson out, and then for those of you that just want to see a full complete map of that, we'll get that for you. Okay. All right. So where were we at? We were in Jubilees chapter 8, and where were we at? We ended up with the sons of Shem.
Yeah.
Okay. Then it starts with Ham. Okay. Well, we're going to end right there. I'm not going to go cross over to Ham because as we can see, the title of the lesson is Abraham, the Father of Nations, right? So let's recap. So what have we discovered? Abraham was the father of nations, not just Israel, but the father of all the nations of the sons of Noah. The priests. Who is the Most High's priest? Israel. The sons of Aharon became the priest to Israel because Israel rejected the priesthood. But once we embrace the priesthood, we don't need the sons of Aharon. You become the royal priesthood and the holy nation, right? And the nations that have come under the covenant of the literal physical Israelites, descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Yaakov, 12 tribes scattered abroad, which is who you are, which is who I am, which is who the so-called, every so-called African American, Negro, and black, 99% we Israelites. So we are the priesthood, but the nations have taught us, oh, y'all the Gentiles, you're a non-Jew, you're a Gentile, right? Nope. Shaul, according to Genesis chapter 10, verse 5, Japheth is the father of the isles of the Gentiles. Okay? If you were to go back to that same map we just looked at and look at Turkey, that you will see the sons of Japheth, that's where they all grouped at. And history, which I don't have time to go into, but I had something I was going to read. But I got a couple things here. Couple things here I want to share references. This one here is the last 2 million years. Brother Bowie recommended this. Brother Bowie recommended this, right, years ago, and I had this in my library. Okay, so this is the last 2 million years. In the last 2 million years, it's actually a good historical book because it actually breaks down how the Gentiles, the sons of Japheth, gained capital and control over the Mesopotamia. How now the people that live in the Mesopotamia that are in charge are actually descendants of Japheth that came in during the Crusades, the Holy Wars, right? The invasions. So the people that live in Egypt, the people that live in the dominant people that are controlling the systems of the world are Japhetic, sons of Japheth. They are the so-called Jews, which are Ashkenazis. They are the Arabs, the Euro-Arabs, not the Afro-Asiatic Arabs, which is the sons of Shem primarily. You may have some that mixed in there, but primarily the Afro-Asiatic Arabs are oppressed by the Indo-Eurasian Arabs, Kurds, Turks, Turkmenistan, all of the stands, right? Those are Japhetic seed that came from the east. Genghis Khan, etc. Right? All those were Japhetic seeds, right? But you can get that, you can learn all of that in this last 2 million years, right? I don't know how much it costs, but it's very good. And it explains to you how Cleopatra, because when Philip of Macedonia's son Alexander came down and they did what? Invaded Egypt first. So what happened? According to Exodus, the Most High said that he would take the Egyptians and scatter them to the four corners, just like he did Israel. But he was going to bring them back. And when he brought them back, he was going to make them a base kingdom. And that what happened? When the Greeks came in, the Greeks took over. And what happened? From that time forward, the natives of the land, many of them went south, went down into Nubia, went down into Africa, northern Sudan. If you look at the map, you'll see on the map, you'll see, if you go to that Google map, the one on the Google map, you'll see the people that were in Egypt when the Greeks came, they pushed down into Sudan, right? Some crossed over into Libya, some crossed over into Chad, some crossed over into Eritrea, that's east of Sudan, right? That's where all the wars was breaking forth. They're Arabs. They call themselves Arabs to this very day. The ones that come from the northern region of Africa or the land of Ephraim. All right. So when the Greeks came down, Alexander, Philip of Macedonia's son, came down into Egypt. They invaded Egypt, and they did what? They Hellenized. They Hellenized everything in Egypt. They made everything look European. Right? Then after the Egyptians came down into, the Greeks came down into Egypt, then the Romans came into power. And this tells you all of that. Okay, Cleopatra was a Macedonian, right? She tried to bargain with the Romans because she knew Rome was coming to take over, right? So what happened? When the Romans came into power, they colonized all of that area. They colonized all of the so-called Middle East, all the way over to Iran and Iraq. And when they did that, what happened? They allowed them other sons of Japheth to come on over, cross on over into the lands where the descendants of Shem were dwelling. Some of them didn't give up a fight. They ended up mixing with them because they wanted to spare them. Just like today, you look at the Israelites, African Americans, many of us are tired of oppression, so what do? We marry into the Europeans because, hey, if I marry a European, I'm protected. That's what they were doing, right? Many of them didn't marry because of love. They married because of protection, right? That's not to say everybody doesn't marry because of, Netanyahu said he found it for $6.71. Right, okay. Oh, wow, they're giving this book away then. So I'm giving you history. And so the Romans came into power, and then when the Romans came into power, the Romans controlled and dominated all of the sons of Japheth. There was no such thing as black and white back then. They were tribes. All of the tribes, the Galatians, the Gauls, are Gomerites. This book tells you that the Romans enslaved them, made them their slaves. And they fought back till finally, eventually, the Roman Empire fell to corruption. They had an emperor called Constantine. Constantine was a bisexual. He was a pervert. And so that was the fall of the Roman Empire, which gave birth to what? The Anglo-Saxon movement, which is where we get the English language from. I learned all this in school. But now this book is actually bringing it back. I'm like, oh, they taught us this in school. Yeah. Right. So the Anglos and the Saxons, they were a people that were a maverick, a migrant people that didn't have a culture. They didn't have a heritage. They didn't have a history. They had none of that, right? So they created their own culture. They created their own history, right? And the History Channel did a documentary on called The Dark Ages of Europe. You can see that in the Dark Ages of Europe. The Europeans didn't have a history, so they had to create. That's why they have all that mythological Greek mythology and Roman mythology, and they embrace all that stuff. And the pagans of up in the pagan lands, they worship the sun and all of that, and the whole 9 yards, right? Okay. So that gave way for what? The birth of UK, what they call the United Kingdom of Great Britain. Now, if you've ever traveled and if you want to travel to see history, go to London and go down to the Parliament and tell me what you see when you go there. You see Rome foot all up in there, right? But Romans had dominated all of that territory. But then when the Anglos and Saxons fought off against the Romans to break their power, it says it right here in this book, that then they were able to establish their own language, their own land, and they unified the kingdom and called it UK, right? All that's in history, right? So we learned that in school. And prayerfully, some people went to sleep because it was boring to some people, but to me, history was very important. So I stayed, I learned, I remember this. I'm like, yeah, now all this stuff is making sense because now I'm connecting the Bible with the history and with the geography. And I'm like, oh, y'all don't know that? It makes sense now when you see the history, the Bible, and the geography. It all comes together. It all slides together in one piece. Now, I'm going to say this, then we're going to finish reading out Jubilees and we're going to close out. I stumbled across a video this week and the brother was trying to say that the Egyptians were white because if you Google Egyptians today, who do you see and populate the images, right? And those people are Indo-Eurasian Arabs. They're not Afro-Asiatic Arabs. That's why they look Eurocentric, because they are Europeans. They are invaders from the East. Okay? So you can't look at them. It's like you can't look at the so-called Ashkenaz and say, oh, they're the biblical Israelites because they're in the land today. That's foolish, because we can look at the United States of America and see people living in places that they didn't originate, that they never had. But through politics, through dirty tactics, they obtained lands that was once inhabited, or lands that people that didn't look like them owned. The cities call it what? Gentrification. Okay, now, so with that said, someone asked, what book was this? This is the last 2 million years. It's one portion, and I want to share one other. This is just a few of my references, books that I use. My studies are basically more strong point towards history and geography. But here's another reference I have. And I got this in Barnes and Noble's bookstore. This will explain a lot of what I just said. This is called The Battles That Changed History, right? And in here it says key battles that, sorry for my Facebook people. It says key battles that decided the fate of nations. So it was the battles that shaped, as he says here, the fate of the nations. See, the people that you see right now is not the people that was there. What did Most High tell Israel? These Egyptians you won't see again. These Egyptians you won't see again. We went back to Egypt. That's history, right? And we can do a lesson on that. Israel did go back to Egypt in ships. And from there, you will be sold to your enemies as male and female slaves, right? So, but we went back to Egypt, but those people weren't there. The Greeks that came and kicked their behinds and put them out. Made them subservient, okay? The Greeks and the Romans, all right? So let's close out Jubilees where we leave off at. We finished, right? I said we finished, right?
We stopped at Shin.
Okay, we're going to stop the Shin. So, next spot, we're going to pick it back up, but prayerfully, you got something out of this lesson to sharing, and share it. For those of you on Facebook, you can share this on your channel. This is how long has this lesson been? It's been, I'm getting a pop-up message here, 2 hours and 25 minutes. a little less because I actually started recording before I started the lesson. So you can share this. One thing about Facebook, once you finish recording it, process it, and bam, it's available right away. YouTube is a little different. Once it's finished, they're going to go through a processing period. It might be 3 hours before you're able to view this long video. Okay. But I also have the hard copy here. So what I'll do, I will upload what I have on my hard copy, and then prayerfully you'll be able to share that as well. Once again, for those of you on YouTube, subscribe if you haven't. You know, like the videos, because YouTube has hidden me. And a lot of people said they have been having the hardest time trying to find me. But YouTube has been hiding me. Let's see, my YouTube link. Let's see if I can go back to Facebook and put it in. Let's see, because I was having problems with all these links being opened up. Let's see, let's try and see if I can. Okay. All right, let's see now. I can't even see where I'm live on here. Let's see. My YouTube, I'm going to have to read you the, if you Google priest, if you go to YouTube and type in priest Kazakya bin Israel, I had to take you to the channel. I can't, for some reason or other, I can't. I have to learn how to do this here. Let me see if I can. Okay, we'll do. Okay, got you. Okay, so once again, Abraham, the father of nations, we Israelites called to be a priest to the nations. And that's what the Most High is doing for us now. He is preparing us. He is purging us of all of the impurities, preparing us to be a people that is called to the sons of Adam. The world needs answers, brothers and sisters. And we have been forced to believe we are Gentiles and we're following the lead of the Gentiles, but we're supposed to be leading the Gentiles to the Most High's laws, statutes, and commandments. So with that said, I'm through. As they say, I feel my help left, so I'm not going to dwell on. But if anybody has any comments or questions on Facebook or on our YouTube feed, please feel free to come forward at this time. We're looking at the comments here, and if there's any questions, one of these Shabbat, we're going to have an open forum where we're going to allow people to just come on and ask questions and dictate to the time of sharing, because we want to be able to reach people, talk about different subjects and topics that we may have had a interest in for years. I'm not an authority on every subject, but the subject that I am strong on, I know I'm strong on because the Most High put me there in that arena. And I know history is a strong point for me, as well as geography is a strong point for me, and identity is a strong point for me, identifying these sons of Noah. So with that said, I pray for you got something out of this, and share, like I said, like the video, share it, and subscribe. When you like it, from what I understand, that puts the channel to a place where people can see it without actually having to know where to look. Well, at one time, my channel was my old channel that YouTube terminated was so prominent that as soon as you come on YouTube, it was telling people that had no interest in what I was talking about. It was feeding them to the channel. So now they've kind of hid me in the trinket somewhere, hid me in the thickets.